This is Nick.
This is Jack.
It's Tuesday, TBoy Tuesday, August 9th, and today's pod is the best one yet.
This is the best one yet.
Jack, can you tell the cows to wait for me? Hold the maple syrup, baby.
Nick is coming to Vermont tomorrow.
Here we go. I can't wait to see it. What's going on up there? What are we going to do?
The biggest thing to happen to this state since chocolate milk.
Literally, the population's increasing by like 40% tomorrow when I'm there.
It's going to be a cow wow.
All right, one question. Have the leaves changed yet? Am I going to see a red leaf?
Not yet.
I really want to see a red leaf.
Come back in September.
Can I see a yellow leaf? First story, what's going on, Jack?
Oatly, the inventor of oat milk, has a problem.
Yeah, Oatly isn't an oat milk. Oatly is a martyr milk.
Oat milk's also not welcome in this state.
Excuse me while I destroy my stash.
For our second story, the Senate just passed the biggest climate bill in the history of the climate.
Yeah, this is the main goal of that bill. Help create the next Tesla.
And our third and final story, newsletter startup Axios isn't just obsessed with bullet points. They just sold for $525 million.
Because lean media gets fat checks.
But before we hit that wonderful mix, Nick.
Wonderful mix. I can't wait to get on that paddleboard.
He's a 3, but he swipes from a standing desk.
Jack, she's a 4, but she matches from her board meeting.
They're both on dating apps, swiping while at work.
And they're both 10s.
Yetis, according to Tinder, half of the singles on their platform swipe and match while on the clock, while in the office.
We repeat, half of you are swiping and matching while you're at work.
Working on spreadsheets, thinking about bed sheets.
Yetis, you should be at the office prepping a slide deck.
You're actually sliding into the DMs, though, of a 31-year-old named Riley.
Yeah, well, that is why Tinder just launched a new feature that they call Desk Mode.
Desk mode, so you can find Mr. or Mrs. right from your cubicle, sneakily.
Yeah, it is very sneaky.
If you log into Tinder from a desktop, you can now click on this new briefcase icon on the top left of your screen.
All right, so here's the wild thing. All your matches pop up, but in the form of meeting notes.
So if you click the briefcase icon, if your boss is walking by, it'll appear on your screen like you're crunching numbers, not swiping.
Oh, in case you're wondering, your boss is walking by.
If you have to look over your shoulder, you're too late.
Because finding the one is a 9-to-5 job.
That's why Tinder is letting you multitask to secure that mate.
So now you can single and mingle while you're at the copy machine.
And your boss won't know.
Unless they're on Tinder too.
So to all the single Yetis out there swiping on the job this TBoy Tuesday,
Jack and I, we see you.
your boss doesn't.
Unless you swipe your boss, in which case they absolutely see you too.
Swipe at your own risk.
Let's hit our 3 stories.
15 years before this song, 2 boys from the Northeast met in a dorm. They had an idea that caused a cultural storm. It's the best one yet, but the best is the norm. Jack, Nick, that's it. I don't even think they need to practice. 50%, that's a fat tip. T-Boy City on your at-list. If you know, cause we ready to go. We can't wait no more, so just start the show. Start the show.
For our first story, Oatly's oat milk sales continue to climb, but its stock is doing the opposite.
Because Oatly has become the martyr of milk.
Okay, by the way, Eddies, in case you're wondering, no, we have not reached peak plant milk.
Apparently seeds are getting milked now.
We're talking about seeds. Sesame seed milk. That's now a thing. You can down it.
Total dairy downer story is sesame seed milk.
But Yetis, just last week, Jack and I were telling you how Starbucks is living its best life thanks to Gen Z ordering cold brew concoctions.
But that pineapple passion fruit refresher from Starbucks,
Fantastic. It's
it
delicious.
comes with oat milk, and not just any oat milk, Oatly.
It comes with Oatly. Sweden-based Oatly invented oat milk back in 1994. Great year.
In 1994, they took some dry oats up in Sweden and somehow squeezed some milk out of them.
How'd you do that, Greg?
I got nipples oat milk. Can you squeeze me?
Yeah, don't push them, Jack. They will. They will literally show up and do it on this pod. But Jack, just to sprinkle on some more context here, how are the sales at Oatly doing?
They were good. Revenues jumped by 22% for Oatly last quarter, which is up from 19% growth the previous quarter.
But Jack, how are the Oatly losses doing?
Past due. I wouldn't taste that. I wouldn't drink that.
All right, I hear you.
Losses tripled to $74 million last quarter.
Yeah, it is. That is why this pure play oat stock is down 82% since its May 2021 IPO.
One share of Oatly costs less than one single espresso right now.
So Yetis, Jack and I were preparing this story and we realized we should break this down barista style.
There's 3 reasons we see for Oatly's awkward stock situation.
Reason number 1, Oatly put the oat in don't.
Yeah, Oatly's marketing says that oat milk is better for you and it's better for the environment than dairy.
But some of those ads got banned because they didn't have the facts to back up all those claimed benefits.
Oat milk is better for the environment than dairy.
Yeah, it is.
But Oatly's marketing mistakes hurt consumer trust.
Okay, reason number 2, supply chain sadness.
Oatly can't keep up with all the demand for oat milk that they created.
Like Starbucks literally had to tap an Oatly rival because they ran out of Oatly.
And the third reason is that competition in the oat milk market caught up to Oatly.
All right, Jack, past the Planet Oat. Have you had Planet Oat?
I have.
I haven't had Planet Oat. But Planet Oat just passed Oatly as the number 1 drink in oat milk by sales.
Planet Oat is owned by a big food company. So the disruptor has been disrupted.
By the disruptee?
By the disruptee.
By the disruptee. Yeti's add all this up. And it's like Oatly is acting like a sad celebrity story.
They can't keep up with the fame they had early on.
Oatly was America's alt-milk sweetheart.
Now Oatly is puking in the toilet on.
Now Oatly is getting embarrassing face tattoos. So Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies over at Oatly?
Oatly is a case study in the corporate martyr.
Yeti's martyrs, they sacrifice themselves for a greater principle, a greater conviction, a greater belief.
Martyrs create a movement, but martyrs don't survive to see their movement fulfilled.
Well, Oatly is becoming that corporate martyr. It's the Joan of Arc of alt milk.
We found evidence in slide 10 of their latest earnings presentation.
We did. What did it say, Jack?
Oatly shows that the oat milk market is growing way faster, 3 times faster than Oatly's sales are.
That's fantastic for the oat milk movement, but not so great for Oatly's shareholders.
And Oatly isn't the first corporate martyr that we've seen before.
No, it isn't. Remember Napster?
Napster pioneered music streaming, but didn't survive to see its potential.
And then you got MoviePass too.
MoviePass pioneered movie subscriptions, but died as AMC mainstreamed it.
Some companies don't survive the innovation they created.
Oatly literally created oat milk, but its stock makes Oatly look like a martyr.
For our second story, the U.S. Senate just passed the biggest climate bill in climate world history.
The real goal of this climate bill, though, is to help create the next Tesla.
Okay, first of all, Jack, headlines you and I didn't expect this weekend. Politicians working a summer weekend to pass a bill.
Yeti's last week, we discussed the inflation bill that wasn't really an inflation bill.
I'm sorry, I just don't remember that chapter in Schoolhouse Rock, Jack.
The Senate worked on Saturday and Sunday, like late nights, both nights.
I'm just a bill sitting here on a weekday on Capitol Hill.
Yetis, the bill we're talking about is called the Inflation Reduction Act, but that's because of political branding.
It is, because like everyone hates inflation. That's what we told you last week.
This bill barely affects inflation, but it has a huge impact on drug prices and planet Earth.
All right, Jack, can you whip up the number context for us over there?
The bill raises $700 billion in new corporate taxes and from savings, and it spends $369 billion to fight climate change.
And that bill just passed the Senate, so it's destined to become law.
Forget all the revenge travel plans. This summer has been a summer of new legislation.
Now, Yetis, Jack and I were trying to figure out how we could describe this bill to you, and it basically comes down to this image.
It pays you to stick things into power outlets.
It pays you to stick things into power outlets.
This bill includes a lot of subsidies for electric things.
For us consumers, this bill includes $7,500 off new electric vehicle purchases and $4,000 off used electric vehicle purchases.
It's not just cars, though. This bill also nudges us to buy electric stoves and ovens and ranges, also heat pumps and air conditioners, because electric ones don't use gas.
But we know what your parents are going to say. An electric car and an electric stove are only as clean as the power they use.
It's true. So this bill also encourages energy companies to finance green energy projects.
So the next time a developer wants to replace that old coal plant, they're going to ask themselves this question: natural gas or wind and solar energy?
Now, with this bill, the developer might think wind and solar.
Yeah, why not?
Because government subsidies are going to make the cleaner option more lucrative for them than they were before.
Add all this up, besties, and no Western country, including the collective European Union, has made such an investment in the climate.
This bill is expected to hugely cut the amount of CO2 and methane that we collectively toss up into the atmosphere.
Okay, so Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies over in the United States?
The real goal of this bill is to help create the next Tesla.
Yetis, Tesla isn't just an electric car company. Tesla is a world leader in clean energy.
Of course, Tesla is Elon Musk.
It is.
And Tesla is bajillions of hours of hard work by Elon and the Tesla team.
But get this. Back in 2010, the economy was down. Tesla had only sold 500 cars, and it was barely hanging on.
Fortunately, Congress had passed a stimulus bill. And that's when Tesla got a $465 million low-interest government loan that was critical for it.
Plus, the first 200,000 Tesla cars that were sold were cheaper because of a $7,500 tax credit from the federal government.
With emerging technology like Tesla was, government support helps early innovators survive and eventually thrive.
Clean energy, it's still an emerging tech.
That's why this bill's goal is to help create the next Tesla.
And now a word from our sponsor, Robinhood.
Nick, you got introduced to the Robinhood app the old-fashioned way, right?
Yeah, I did. My girlfriend, now wife's older brother, who was that guy who worked in tech and knew about the next iPhone before Apple did.
He told you about the Robinhood app?
He told me about the Robinhood app.
All right, so you signed up because you wanted to buy a stock.
Because it was hard to figure out how to buy a stock when you're 25 and it's 2014.
Yeah, back then you had to find a broker, call a broker on the phone,
Call them.
pay a commission to that broker.
Instead of calling, suddenly there's this app. You just swipe and you could buy the stock.
Robinhood's interface felt as easy as ordering an Uber or snagging a sandwich on Seamless.
And it still is. So if you're not a Robinhood user yet and you want to get started, you can go to Robinhood.com/TBoy and you can choose, get this, a free stock.
That's Robinhood.com/TBOY. Certain limitations apply and all investments involve risk.
Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC. Robinhood, by the way, no longer affiliated with us or the podcast. For our third and final story, Axios, the newsletter company, was just acquired by Cox Enterprises.
Because it's lean media that gets the fat checks.
Okay, Jack, remember when Dr. Evil said his father would just make outrageous claims? That was the whole plot?
Like he invented the question mark?
Yeah. Well, Axios, they claim that they invented smart brevity.
Oh, it was you who invented smart brevity.
Honestly, Jack, Axios probably thinks we've done this story too long already. We've wasted way too much time and way too much space.
Yeah, these three former Politico guys started the company Axios, a new digital news agency back in 2017.
And their focus was smart brevity. Deliver you important news efficiently via newsletter in your inbox.
Real focus, though, was bullet points.
Some of the bullet points had their own bullet points. Rather than AP-style paragraphs, Axios' 43 newsletters break information into bullet points.
Here's our favorite unverified fact. If a sentence starts with a bullet point, it feels 40% shorter no matter what. Although personally, I'm a dash guy. I don't use bullet points.
I know you're a dash guy. All right, Jack, I jumped in TBoy style. You know how many bullet points were in the latest Axios newsletter today?
How many?
27 bullet points.
That actually sounds like a low day.
You got to hit 30. You got to hit 30.
Nick and I both read the Axios AM newsletter every day.
We do.
It's a fine product. And every one is about 7 stories and then 2 ads paid for by deeply unliked companies.
It's like Facebook is taking action to keep its platform safe.
Here's how ExxonMobil is making the world a cleaner place.
Philip Morris, we donate sometimes to some charities.
Here is the news, Yetis. Axios just got acquired by Cox Entertainment, an Atlanta-based media giant, for $525 million.
Nick, that on a bullet point. This is your classic big media acquiring small media situation.
Cox does a lot of stuff in media. They own some newspapers and they own some cable TV channels.
Oh, and then Jack, they also own Auto Trader, we discovered.
Yeah, you can buy used cars on it.
And they also, interestingly, invested in Rivian,
an electric truck company.
And now Cox is doing national newsletter journalism with Axios.
They're paying $525 million or over $1 million per Axios employee.
Yeah, that's the statistic Jack and I are most fascinated by. So, Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies over at Axios?
Lean media gets the fat checks.
Yetis, Axios' pitch has always been lean content. You'll save time and get smarter reading our stuff.
But it's not just the lean content. Axios' real differentiator is their lean operations.
That's what Jack and I think, because $525 million, that may not sound like a huge media deal to you, but Axios, that's a lean company. they only have 500 employees.
Let's compare Axios' acquisition to that of Washington Post, which happened back in 2013.
Yeah, that newspaper had 2,000 employees when it was bought by Jeff Bezos for $250 million.
All right, so if we look at just the price.
In that case, Axios sold for double what the Washington Post sold for.
But let's look actually, Nick, at the price per employee.
In price per an employee, Axios actually sold for 8 times more than the Washington Post.
Yeti's news media is a hard place to make a profit. The ones that are profitable are the lean ones.
The Athletic, Cheddar, Morning Brew, Axios, they all achieved high price acquisitions, all lean.
It's the lean media that gets the fat checks.
Jack, can you whip up the takeaways for us for TBoy Tuesday?
Oatly sales are only growing a third as fast as the rest of the oat milk market.
Honestly, it looks like Oatly could be the martyr of alt-milk.
For our second story, the Senate just passed the biggest climate change bill the climate has ever seen.
The real goal? To help create the next Tesla.
Our third and final story, Axios just got acquired by Cox, which will invest even more in Axios local newsletters.
Axios is lean media. Axios just got a fat check. Now time for the best fact yet. This one sent in by legendary Yeti Savannah Westwood from lovely Orlando, Florida.
Trivia. What country has the most vending machines in the world?
You'd think it's us. Like, you'd think it's the United States. We eat the most stuff.
It's not the U.S.
No, it's not. Get this. It's Japan. Japan has the most vending machines.
I'm not sure if this is per capita or just total.
Let's roll with it.
But Japan has 23 vending machines per person.
That is higher per capita than any country in the world.
They have vending machines for clothing, for fruit, for flowers.
They got vending machines for hamburgers, underwear. They even got vending machines for milk.
Is the cow in the machine?
You don't want to know. They've even got vending machines for bow ties just in case you're at a wedding and you forgot your bow tie.
If you can vend it,
yeah,
Japan's got it.
You want bullet points? Yeah, they got vending machines for those too. Yetis, you look fantastic for TBoy Tuesday. And if you haven't yet, click to follow us on Apple, Spotify, or whatever app you're on right now.
Nick and I, we will see you tomorrow.
If you know, you know. And before we go, happy birthday to Jonah Faye Hurwitz, renting the runway over in Park Slope.
Happy birthday to Ainsley Monique in Chicago, Illinois.
And Katie and Tyler just moved from Austin all the way to D.C.
And congrats to Josh Hobson, who's moving to Portland.
And Derek Westfall, enjoy that 1-year work anniversary. Get some good tacos. Good way to celebrate.
And happy birthday to Brianna Durkin, who also just had her second kid. I heard she's gorgeous. Her name's Marley. And to anyone else celebrating something today, make it a T-Boy.
Celebrate the wins.
This is Jack. Nick and I both own stock of Robinhood.
And now a word from our sponsor, Robinhood.
The first time I tried to buy a stock, I got burned badly.
Is this when you wanted to buy a share of Ford because you like the chassis over in Detroit?
Yes. I had $200, so I bought $200 of Ford stock. I didn't get $200 of Ford stock, though. I got $192.
The commission fees.
By the time the stock climbed back to $200, I sold it. But again, I didn't get $200. I got $192 again.
Another commission fee.
The stock rose 8%, but I was down on my investment.
Because commission fees made small money investing impossible.
So Robinhood came in and killed commission fees.
And commissions are still dead in stock and crypto trading thanks to our sponsor.
If you're not investing on Robinhood yet, to get started, go to Robinhood.com/TBoy and choose a free stock.
That's Robinhood.com/TBOY. Certain limitations apply. For a list of other fees, view their fee schedule at rbnhd.co/fees.
All investments involve risk. Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC. Oh, and by the way, Robinhood is no longer affiliated with us or the podcast.
And the stocks Jack just said are for illustrative purposes only and are not recommendations.